Hello YouTube, and welcome to this Nodejs and Express tutorial. It's Vitrex code, and in this tutorial we're going to be looking at Node.js. We're going to see how to program scalable websites and applications with Node.js and Express. We're also going to see the properties of Node.js and why you should use Node.js over other programming languages like PHP and ASP. So without further ado, let's look at a brief introduction of Node.js. Node.js is a server-side runtime environment built on Google Chrome's JavaScript V8 engine. Node.js is a platform built on Chrome's JavaScript runtime. Node.js is an event-driven and non-blocking model that makes it lightweight and efficient. It is perfect for data-intensive applications and run across distributed devices. In summary, Node.js can be said to be runtime environments and JavaScript libraries. So, Node.js was programmed by Ryan Dahl in 2009. It has been ever developing since then, and it's gone very high in the market. Node.js was built on Chrome's JavaScript V8 engine. It was built using C++ on Chrome's JavaScript V8 engine. And it's one of the best back-end frameworks in the world today. It's best when you want to program scalable network applications and applications which are I/O driven. It's perfect for data-intensive real-time applications and runs across distributed devices. So when you want to create non-blocking and data-intensive real-time applications, then you should go for Node.js. Node.js is simply a combination of runtime environments and JavaScript libraries. Node.js is asynchronous programming. Now, let's look at a common task web browsers perform. A common task for web browsers can be to open a web file on a server and return its content to its client. Now here's how PHP and other languages like ASP handle requests. Now they send the request to the computer file system. They wait while the file system opens and reads the file. When the file has been opened and read, the server now returns the contents to the client, and then before it's now ready to receive the next request. However, here's now Node.js handles a file request. Node.js sends the task to the computer's file system. It reads, it gets ready to handle the next request at the same time. When the file system has opened and read the file, the server returns the content to the client. Node.js eliminates the waiting and simply continues with the next request. Node.js runs on single thread. It is single-threaded. It's non-blocking, it's asynchronous. That makes it very, very memory efficient. Now, as opposed to PHP and ASP that handle requests through a blocking process, they do this by sending one request at a time to the server, and no further action occurs on the server unless a request has been duly received, processed, handled, and responded to. So for every request, any other incoming request has to wait for first request to be processed and responded to before any other request can be sent to the server. So it means that every request has to now be in a queue, they have to be in a stack, and they have to wait for the first request on the stack to be executed and responded to. Very, very important. So before any other one can be taken to the server. However, for Node.js, while one request has been sent to the server, the Node.js thread is able to go back to the client and get other requests and also push it up to the server so that the server is able to process, is able to receive different requests at the same time without having to wait for the first request on the stack to be executed and responded to before it receives another request. By so doing, if the first request requires high amounts of time before it's processed, and the second request doesn't require such amount of time. It therefore implies that the second request, even though it was lastly sent, it is going to be first executed, is going to be first responded to before the first request is responded to. So this makes it non-blocking. That means this shows that you can be able to send different requests to the server at the same time and also receive responses from the server at the same time. That is what we call non-blocking. We don't have to wait. We eliminate the waiting time as compared to other languages like ASP and PHP. Now, what are other advantages of Node.js? As we have clearly enumerated, Node.js eliminates the waiting and simply continues the next request. Node.js runs on single thread. The single thread is non-blocking asynchronous, and this makes it very, very memory efficient. Node.js can generate dynamic page content. Node.js can create, open, read, write, delete, and close files on the server. Node.js can collect form data. Node.js can add, delete, modify data in your database. So Node.js doesn't just work with client browser, it also works with back-end databases. So, properties of a Node.js file. Node.js file contains tags that can be executed on certain events. An example of a typical event is when someone tries to set a port on the server. Node.js files must be initiated on the server before having any effect. Node.js files also have the extension of .js. So with this, we have come to the end of an introduction to Node.js, and we have seen that Node.js is asynchronous. It is non-blocking as compared to languages like PHP and ASP. It being non-blocking therefore saves us the waiting time which would have waited for a request to first be responded to. Node.js runs on a single thread. Node.js is good for scalable applications that involve high input and output. Node.js is good for distributed systems. Node.js files must be initiated on the server before having any effect. And Node.js files have extensions of .js. Node.js working with JavaScript has different modules that can be incorporated into it, that can be plugged into Node.js. This makes it very, very versatile. So an example of those modules is Express, which we're going to be handling in this tutorial. So thank you very much for following me through this tutorial. With this, we've come to the end of this session. In the next episode, we're going to be looking at how to set up the environment for working with Node.js, how to download Node.js, and how to set up your environment. So thank you very much for watching. If this tutorial was helpful to you, please do subscribe to my channel and like. That's going to be of much help to this production. Thank you very much once again, and do subscribe.